Today's episode is sponsored by Permanent Hearing Damage, which is a recording studio based in Philadelphia, owned and operated by Steve Roche from Seisha, Offminer, Boer War, which you're hearing now, and many others. They've spent the last 25 years specializing in recording, mixing, mastering for punk, hardcore, metal, and related genres at artist-friendly prices. Some recent clients include Piers, Foxtails, Masanera, Closer, Rambo, Stinking Lizaveta, Sanagi, and Witching. Contact Permanent Hearing Damage via their website, permanenthearingdamage.com. Hello, and welcome to Everything Remade, a podcast that I hope is about growth as much as it is about music. I'm Edie Quinn, and we have a great show lined up for you today. Before we get started, though, I'd like to remind you about our Patreon page at patreon.com/humanmachine, where you can go to support the show and read zines, get music sneak peeks, and much more. That's patreon.com/humanmachine. And now, I'd like to play something for you. You're hearing I Got Enough Fucking Friends by Kiowa, featuring my new pal Jack on drums. The song is short, so check them out on Bandcamp.
As funny as this sounds, is when I heard 21 Pilots when I was like 9 or 10. And watching their drummer play in like their music videos and live videos, because like I don't know, it's like the band is two people. It's that other guy just like playing some instrument. But like I never saw a band before that was just like that was also pretty centered around the drummer, because there's only two people in that band, so like there's always more attention on that drummer as well, and like that really caught my eye. And just how like flashy he was, I was like, damn, I want to be that one day. And probably like a month later, like last day of summer, the first day of summer actually, I remember I called this place, Santa Ana, about like 30 minutes from me, asking if they had any available times for lessons. And I set up that lesson. My parents drove me and like paid for it and stuff because I was 10. But like, yeah, that's the first thing that I remember. And then the second thing I remembered was I went to see my friend's old band called Witch Melter. It was like a bass and drum, like sludge band. They're very like they used to be very influenced by Dystopia or whatever. And they were a band from like 2019, 2022. About that, and I saw one of their shows at this venue. I was online friends with both of those members, and I went up to Northern California to watch them play. That was one of the first shows I remember going to, and also one of the first shows, the first show where I like went backstage. I got to see the venue, how like they set up the show and everything, and that really made me want to start a band. And then after that, I was really like, I was very, very inspired. Like, my friends can do this, I can do this as well.
Yeah, so you said you were...
Before...
I'm sorry.
Continue?
You were saying you were 10 when you booked the lesson. How old were you when you went to that show?
I was about 14.
Oh, okay. So you'd been playing drums for a few years.
I was 13, but I was like turning 14 like a couple weeks later.
Okay. So you've been like, did you keep up with the lessons?
Yeah, I kept up with them for about like 3 to 4 years. Not the same person though. I actually only did like a few lessons with this person because they're far, not really, also kind of like like taking it kind of too seriously, like about like a bunch of different things that got really overwhelmed at the end of one of them. And I, after that, I remember I never went to that guy again. And then I went to this other place that's like 10 minutes away from me where I did like, what, like 3, 4 more years of lessons. And I kind of stopped doing those because I started picking up a lot of shows and started doing practices with my first band that turned into the second band. And like, I just didn't have enough time for that anymore. I
Yeah.
felt like I learned enough. I still like teach myself a lot of things though.
Yeah. You 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 mean like you teach yourself like rudiments, fundamentals kind of things from like YouTube,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
just like is there a
YouTube
particular?
and by ear.
Yeah.
I can't really read music.
Yeah, no, that's not for me. um
I used to also do like marching band like for a couple years,
okay.
and um I had to learn how to read music. Like I still didn't really know how, but I kind of learned. I was kind of like, they call it like the pit, and I'm just kind of playing like auxiliary stuff like cymbal crashes. Like I played the gong and bass drum and all that.
Mhm.
It was cool, but that wasn't for me either. I started doing a lot of shows, and I realized like I enjoy this like 100 times more. Why am I still doing this? So I like quit in the middle of the second year
Yeah,
just to keep doing music.
there's kind of there's definitely kind of a lot of like, where you're learning something to get to a point to where you can, take over on your own. And drums, just I've never taken drum lessons, but like the for me it would seem like, unless you were like, yeah, I just want to get like disgustingly good, that that horizon of like, yeah, I've learned enough to like be the drummer of a band now, is like that would come up real fast for me, like just because like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I never took lessons or anything, but like I kind of just
But do
was.
you play drums? Did you self-teach
Yeah,
yourself?
I do, and I did teach myself. I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I kind of just was in bands as a guitar player, and then I was doing the thing that every drummer loves, where the guitar player was trying to explain the beat, and the drummer got frustrated and was like, "You fucking do it," and I got behind the kit and I like could do it, and the drummer was the drummer, like, to his credit, his attitude like right away like shifted to where he was just like, no fucking way, like I can't believe you just came back here and did that. And he took that as an opportunity to be like, what else can you do, like, I was the dancing monkey for a minute, and and I was like, well, like, what other songs do we got, like what other beats, and so I played essentially like some of the other songs that our band had, and I didn't really play drums until way later, when it was just like a situation where you're trying to start a band and everybody's picking what they're going to play and nobody plays drums. And I'm sure you're familiar with that, and that's why you're the drummer of like 4 bands right now, because like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I have a
So
hard time saying no too because most of the time it's like it's cool stuff. Because I was asked to join Kiowa, and I really didn't want to say no to that. They started the band like a few months earlier, but their drummer moved to New Jersey, and I ended up like filling in for a show once, and then I just asked them at the practice like, "Can I just be the drummer?" as a joke, and then they took it seriously, and then now I'm in Kiowa.
yeah, well, I mean, it would be hard to pass up, like somebody who's got the licks and also like already knows the songs, and yeah, 'cause I mean, there's it always seems to be a drummer shortage. I'm not sure about California necessarily, because
There's
like
still a drummer shortage, even though there's too many bands. There's
right,
still not enough drummers.
right. I was just gonna say like I think maybe like the absolute like meanest drummer I can think of, it being from California, being Taylor from New Villascora
Oh
and all
yeah,
that.
they're
Like,
awesome. You want to
yeah.
know something cool?
What's up?
I'm actually filling in for them at the Renaissance Fest.
For you're filling in for Taylor?
Yeah,
Wow. That's
I'm actually after I do this interview, I'm actually going to one of the practices for that.
oh, you're going to go and practice with Daniel and them.
Yeah,
Wow. That's awesome.
I'm hanging out with Alex Bigman today. Isn't that funny?
Oh, yeah, the who coined the term scrams, and I like Alex, but
Yes.
that's a strike in my book.
Aw.
That's a strike. I'm not a fan of that phrase. Never have been, but also like don't care that much. Like it's just funny to say that's a
Not
strike.
not not a fan of the term scrams.
No, no. It's just like
Me neither, really.
it's silly, right? And the reason why I say like I don't care enough is because there are some people that like that term makes their blood boil, and I think that's ridiculous because like we're at the point where like people are just trying to put like more and more like qualifiers or something on their like band descriptions, you know what I mean? Like blackened,
Yeah.
screamo, power violence, scrams. Like you'll see
I'm like,
like
rate your music bullshit.
yeah, and it's I get like I get wanting to differentiate or but a lot of times like it seems like a pissing contest. I don't and I don't care enough about that to like
Yeah,
um
especially because like what people were calling screamo, like, and that making people mad, that makes sense. But I remember someone talked to me about this recently. Is like over the years, the um the stuff that people would call screamo, but actual like quote unquote real screamo people would get mad about, like
yeah,
post hardcore or mall emo stuff,
yeah.
has just gotten like so much more like appreciated over the last couple of years. Now it's just like there's no need for the word scrams because that shit's cool again, or is now cool to the scrams people.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to when everybody was just calling our band screamo, like we used to call the other stuff Target screamo because that's like screamo that you could hear in a Target like Under Oath and stuff.
Yeah,
You know, used to be like,
yeah.
"Oh, this
I
Target
like Under
screamo
Oath
band."
and all that too, but I also like
Oh yeah, it's fine. Like
damn whatever
I
the hell.
I don't. I mean, when I say I like Under Oath, like I like one album. I don't really know that I've heard many of the other ones, and the way that even that album ends can like that I can do without that. Like, but like I
Yeah,
understand that they're a Jesus
which
band.
album?
They're only chasing safety. Like, I understand that they're a
That is a pretty
Jesus
good one.
a Jesus band, but like the way that album ends is like wild. It's like you like I don't know. It's just yeah. But I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
and also there's like when Under Oath was a black metal band, they had that one like pro life song, and that's just kind of like cringy.
Oh, I don't like I said, I think I've really so like I my brother used to live with us up here and my brother liked real screamo, but like but when it came to like what he really wanted to listen to, it was Target screamo. Like he loved that shit. And so there's a lot of
You're from
stuff.
Canada, right?
Huh?
You're
Me?
from Canada, right?
No, I live in
Yeah.
Indiana. I'm just
Ah,
over here in Indiana. I I was born in Ohio, grew up in Florida, and then ended up in Indiana. But like, yeah, my brother like was obsessed with like Target screamo, like loved like, um, all of that kind of stuff. Like, and
Sleeping with Sirens.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever
Or
heard
is that
them.
like too pop?
I think that's like
I don't like them really.
I think that's just like a later era or something. Like we lived together, probably like 2002, 2000 to 2004 or something, So it's like really in that era where of course it's Hawthorne Heights and Emery and Under Oath and
Thursday.
oh yeah, for sure. And there's another band that I always blank on their name, and then whenever I remember, I gotta go watch like some of these videos because it was so over the top. But yeah, I don't know,
Like
just
Coheed and Cambria.
oh yeah, that well actually I listened to I listened to a fair bit of that because I do find it very interesting how it's like mall emo slash prog rock, which I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, and also like the vocalist like did comics and stuff, which I'm like really into. So, and
I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah, I have a volume of the comics that I like still have not read, which is
Are they big in the comic world as well?
um for a minute Claudio was doing a lot of stuff, and um, he was married to someone also, and she was co-writing a lot of stuff with Claudio, and so the main comic that he did was called the Amori Wars, and it's like there's a lot of it, and their albums are supposed to be like the comics and these albums are supposed to be like
Intertwined.
yeah it's supposed to be like adapted from the albums, or it's supposed to be or vice versa, right? But like
Damn.
everybody's always
That is some
like
like crazy nerd shit.
yeah everybody's always like they're not really though, like, and I have not read, like I said, I got like the first volume on like on a website where it's like you get it's cheap graphic novels. We're not sponsored by cheapgraphicnovels.com, but if they want to sponsor us, then they should, because I once a year I'll get an order from there, and it's like yeah you can find stuff, and I must have got this trade for like $6, right? And it was I really wanted to read it. I was like about to read it, and then it was like they're not that similar, and then I was disappointed, and I'm like it doesn't really matter. It's probably cool,
Which one did you read that like was connected to what album?
I have not read any of his stuff that's connected to an album. I read another thing that him and his wife, at least that they were married at the time, I believe.
Mhm.
I read a different thing that they did, which was like just about this like guy that was just I can't remember what it's called, but like it was just wild. If you're familiar with the character Lobo from DC Comics, it just reminded me of Lobo. It was like this guy was like a bounty hunter, and he just straight up like crazy murdered all kinds of people and stuff. It was a really bloody and like violent comic and stuff. And I mean, it was entertaining to read, but like for a minute there, yeah, they were doing like a lot of comics, but the Amori Wars one being the one that like the name of the comic is the Amori Wars, and then the different trades I believe had the same name as like some of their albums, like Second Stage Turbine Blade or whatever. And yeah, I don't
That
know.
one is the one with Time Consumer, right?
I think so. Yeah, that's probably the one I know
The one with
the
the
most as
blog.
well.
That's that's the one that I like. I haven't heard any of the others. I discovered Coheed really recently. Like I've known about them for a long time, but I just never like paid attention because I don't know. I always just assumed it was just another one of those mall bands, but I started like really appreciating it later in life. I never got into fucking like scene emo. I was always more into like real emo or whatever.
Yeah. What were some of
And
the first
I
bands
all my
like
life
that you really got into?
Like getting into that. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was really big into punk when I was younger,
Uh-huh.
and then I just went through the Discord Records rabbit hole, and then I found Rites of Spring, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of did get into it like chronologically, just because of me finding it through Rites of Spring, and then when you find Rites of Spring, all the other recommended stuff from that time, and then that led me getting into like the 31G San Diego stuff, Gravity Records, the good shit,
Yeah.
and then also got into more emo violence, like the Orchid, Drum's Dream, all that. Uh, and then like later on, I got really into bands uh, like Honeywell, One Eye God Prophecy, Reversal of Man. Reversal of Man was really big for me.
Mm-hmm.
Usurp, obviously. Uh, and then a little bit later, I got into Midwest emo like kind of same time, just like the obvious American football, Promise Ring, and then later on got into more Mineral. I really like Mineral still, and but then I started liking the more modern stuff later. I got really into Snowing and like Boy Problems and Empire, all that.
As far as like Kiowa and Claybirds goes, like I feel like there's some crossover there, like with like sound, but like
Mm-hmm.
not that much. And
Yeah,
like
no. The only thing
Kiowa's
in common is
obviously
that
coming from a very metal, and then Claybirds I feel like is what you described, where it's like, yeah, there's like a lot of cap and jazz here and stuff like that. Like um
yeah,
now I like where does in Claybirds, where in your estimation does the sort of like how you all will
the
go
sound
from
come
like
from.
cap and jazz to like really heavier or like more manic sounding stuff, like where does that come from, like the perspective of different people writing different parts, or is it just like that's what happens when everybody comes together?
A little bit of both.
Uh-huh.
We all started the band loving screamo, but also like punk and like everything else like that. I'm a very firm believer that everything is punk. Screamo is punk,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone that likes screamo should also like punk and all that.
Yeah, I've
I feel
said.
like there's a lot of people now, especially like some um like I don't know. I want to keep it way more positive, but way more people need to either remember their roots or listen to things other than screamo and adjacent things.
Yeah, I think it goes the other way as well. Like I have a lot of friends that I've known from for a really long time, that like that I mean, I've been playing in screamo bands for like 25 years, right? But like somebody will be like, "Is this a punk? Is this a punk album, or is this still that screamo shit?" And my position on that has always been that like screamo is punk because like it's the next logical like step for that. Like
Yeah,
why like
yeah,
yeah, like why like when you had like Minor Threat and Minor Threat eventually becomes like this or that or the
embrace.
other thing, yeah, and like it's like I understand like I understand at some point it's like people are like no, I mean
Tired of it.
like no effects. And I'm like I don't I there's a point where when you're listening to No Effects where I'm just like this isn't even punk anymore. Like there's nothing about this to
No.
me. It's just like the guitars sound so sterile and like everything is just and the vocals are just feel so bored. Like I didn't whether or not like the content on their on Ribbed or their earlier albums or whatever, whether or not that was like stuff that people should be singing about or whatever, like that's a whole other thing. But I'll say that those are punk albums. But like when you start
Hmm.
getting into stuff later, I'm like, this isn't even a punk. Like it doesn't, and it's just like, yeah, because
There's
like,
nothing about this that screams anything worth talking about or remembering.
yeah, it's not like you're not, hey, you're just not. I don't know. So that's been my position is like this is punk. What do you mean? Like this is punk. This is like fuck the system. This is like have each other's backs. This is all of that stuff. So like I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I
And there's a lot of older screamo, especially, is very much like that. And I wish there's more of that now.
mhm.
I'm kind of glad that it's like I'm glad things evolve and I'm glad things don't keep doing the same thing. But I feel like there's a lot of people that could bring more to the table if they listen to something that wasn't just screamo, or at least I don't know. I come from like post COVID generation bands, so and you come from a very different perspective. But like I found screamo and stuff just by like online YouTube digging and shit.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of people that would just found that over like more like mainstream social media, which is fine. I don't really care about that anymore. I used to get really mad about stuff like that, but I don't know. I kind of don't care enough anymore about like being mad about the same things. I'm not gonna change people. I feel like a lot of people like to repeat like the same things that they get mad about, like scene wise, and feel like I've kind of turned a new leaf recently, kind of not talking shit about all that.
Mhm. Um when you're saying like they could bring more to the table, do you mean musically or like ideologically or like both?
Kind of both.
Mhm.
Um, and again, I'm no better than anybody at all. Um, I actually like I don't know. It's just kind of like stuff on the top of my head. I don't like I don't dwell on this stuff too much, but like it's just got me thinking like huh.
Yeah, no. I mean, do you feel like there's sort of like a regurgitation of like the same basic ideas, whether they're musically or otherwise? Is that
Yeah,
where that's coming from? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they
yeah,
always say like if you want to be a better writer, like go for a hike. If you want to write better music, read a bunch of books. Like you have to have different experiences than just what your artistic outlet is to enrich
yeah.
your artistic outlet for sure.
Because kind of like when Claybirds was kind of first starting, that was the only thing screamo that I had going on in my life, and I kind of felt like, oh, I should just put in everything screamo that I like into this, and then that sometimes didn't really work. There are some songs that we did. I'm not too big on now that I felt kind of like was putting everything together when I feel like shouldn't have been. But I feel like after I joined like Kiowa and all that, I feel like I got some like ideas that I had in that band more like
Out of your
better
system?
used. Yeah, and then I feel like what I feel like Claybird's always it was and should be, it kind of like is easier to do that.
Yeah. You were just like
No,
sort of feeling all of these different influences and trying to cram them into one band, and now you have like different bands where
yeah,
you can access those and express those influences better.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um, because I remember like before I started doing bands, everyone had a hella bands, or at least like there's a lot of people I knew that had a bunch of different bands for all the because they liked a bunch of different genres.
mhm.
But then I noticed now there's kind of a change where it's like you're doing everything in one band, and I feel like that harms your band because no, because when that happens, or this has even harmed like in my opinion like the musical direction of Clavers in some ways, just kind of like or at least in the past. I'm very happy with everything that we've done, but I'm very happy with how we create music now. It feels a lot more like focused and realized. Also, because we've gotten older and tastes have changed and stuff.
Yeah. And you
Because
get
we
more
started
used to
that band
playing
when
with
we
each
were
other
like,
and
yeah, because we started that band when we were like 15, 16, and now we're all like graduating high school and um going to college and shit.
mhm. Yeah, it's wild like, we're kind of going through how I mentioned before there's you're in a lot of bands, and it it seems like the list kind of keeps growing. But I saw when I was just writing everything down for this that there was a post from the Olivia, which is Alyvia, Olivia
Hmm.
Instagram, where it was like the post was from like 10 minutes ago, and it was like, we're recording an EP. Like, were you literally recording an EP today? Or
No,
did I
no, we
misread that?
those were film photos that our bassist George just I think got back and just posted them because
Oh,
they just got
okay.
those back. We recorded that earlier this month, like first month of April.
Okay.
Um,
Because
yeah, I'm excited to put that out.
I was like, is this person really recording right now, then gonna hop on the podcast, and then I just found out you're gonna go fill in for Nuvola Scura. So like, I was like, what kind of
No,
day?
Ghost Spirit.
Oh, Go Spirit. Oh, that's I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
right, because I don't know why I kept thinking it was Nuvola Scura, but Go Spirit, right? Because
Well, Taylor's in both.
yeah, and also L, right? So like it, yeah,
Yeah.
that totally skipped my mind. Go Spirit, yeah, because you said
Also,
Alex
that
Big,
band L is so fucking good. I
yeah. I
wish I
mean,
could have seen that band.
is that like a done thing, or I don't? I mean,
I have no
yeah,
idea.
I
They
don't
just
either.
haven't played it in a long time.
Yeah, it seems like it's members of a lot of different bands, so it sometimes those bands are just like, oh yeah, well, we did it when we could do it, and sometimes it's just like you'll see something pop up and it's just like, hey, we had time to write some songs again, congratulations. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Ghost Spirit,
Can
that
I talk
makes
about Olivia? I really want to talk about that.
for sure.
I'm excited
What's
for that band,
uh-huh.
Primo band, but we're kind of approaching it very differently from what we've like previously done. Because the other three members of that band were in Trains. Do you know that band?
I've been seeing the name a lot. I haven't heard them.
They're cool. kind of like uh kind of like the 2000s, 2010s stuff. Kind of also what we're trying to go for.
Sure.
I feel like the big thing for Olivia, or at least for me, biggest bands probably up there like Slow Fire Pistol or Glassing or uh, Ostraka, I would say.
Okay.
But things like change here and there. We're talking about like sounding weirder here and there, but just kind of like that sound of screamo.
Mm-hmm. What you said you recorded an EP. What was that
Yeah,
experience like? Like, what was the?
that was really fun.
Yeah.
We recorded with this guy Colin Knight. He records at this studio called Paradise Recorders in Anaheim. It's a really cool studio. Sounds incredible. I don't know if you've heard the Othio record, but it was recorded there.
Yeah.
And if you like that production, yeah, it's like the real deal. Probably like the best studio I've ever been to.
Awesome. Um.
It just sounds like I love how it came out. And we just got back like first mixes and stuff, just kind of going through like revisions and stuff. But I'm really excited to put this out.
And was that like everyone tracking individually, or did you get like a live room tracking and then overdubs, or
We did
how?
live room.
Uh huh.
The place has like a hall where we put the amps in,
Mm-hmm.
and then we recorded drums in like the big room.
But everything tracked at the same time, just like in headphones and the amps in the other room and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
I've been hearing more and more about that. Uh, I I can't do that because I do like I record a lot of my stuff like almost entirely myself. So it's like there's no one to play the guitar. I'm playing the guitar later. I'm tracking the drums like from memory or whatever. Or sometimes just improvising. But yeah.
I also make solo music, so
What's that
that
called?
I understand. I don't have anything like I don't have a lot of I don't have anything out. I will just sometimes put it on my SoundCloud or whatever if I
Oh,
feel like
okay.
it. But I don't have like a project or anything. I've just like ever since I got the Focusrite interface, like 2022, I just make a lot of stuff.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I learned guitar like early 2021 to like to make solo music. Like
Hmm.
I don't know, I didn't really care about guitar or bass or anything like when I first started playing drums, but uh, guitar really like really benefited me being in bands because I kind of like if I had an idea, I can show them how I feel about like changing something up.
Hmm.
Uh, like how you said, it's like you got on the drum set and showed them like no, it should go like this, but you actually did it.
Yeah.
And like I feel like also in a way that's also why I wanted to pick up guitar. But I really like Dinosaur Jr. That's like one of my favorite bands ever.
Hmm.
And that guitar style was like the coolest shit to me. And like and how the that's also why I picked up bass. Because their bassist, Lou Barlow, plays a lot of like chords because like as a three piece, kind of have to like fill the space somehow. And he does a great job. He just kind of sounds like a second guitar.
Yeah. 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 I don't know. Dinosaur Jr. is a big one for me too. Although, like, I'm not like a super fan as far as like, you know, um, some people as far as Jay Massis goes. Like, there are people that worship the ground he walks on. I definitely have a couple of the LPs, like, the actual physical LPs, and have been listening to that band for since high school, which is a long
Oh,
time ago.
yeah,
But Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I definitely, I definitely think that they're an influence on my songwriting, and I definitely think they're like they deserve to be one of the highest like rated like sort of like most original bands. But it's weird how
I agree.
I never got obsessed with like I'll get obsessed with different things. Like I was really obsessed with like going over like all of like the lyrics to like My War by Black Flag or something, or like some
Yeah, I have
different.
like a new obsession every month with like
Yeah,
some kind of music.
yeah, but like Dinosaur Jr. It's like one of those things where I don't know why. It's just like I never like it was never a thing where it was just like I got to know everything about this band, you know? Like maybe that's part part of the.
That is also, I also don't like, I don't listen to any of the later stuff. Like after there's a couple like 90s albums with like really big songs by them. Those are the only like later stuff that I really listen to.
Mhm.
I'm looking at their Spotify right now. Uh, I pretty much stop after Without a Sound
Yeah.
because I don't really know the other shit.
Yeah,
But like everything,
I'm trying to think of the two that I have on vinyl. A Bug is definitely one of them, and I can't remember. Like I'm picturing the album cover for the other one, but I don't
You're
remember.
Living All Over Me.
Probably, but yeah,
That one was my favorite. That was the one I would always listen to.
it's wild. That band brings back a lot of memories where it's like we were all in high school and we barely like, you know, some of my friends played guitar and none of us like knew what the hell we were doing. We barely knew bar chords, and we would hear something that was that different, and we would just like, you know, some people I remember them saying, you know, like different things about like Buffalo Tom, for example. One of my friends was like, they tune their guitars higher. And I think that this same person said the same thing about Dinosaur Jr. Like, they tune their guitars higher. You can't just make a guitar sound like that. And like, I'm pretty sure that's
Oh,
not true.
like the Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, or I don't, you know, I think it was just somebody who didn't know what
People
the
are
fuck they were.
nerds about that. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think this person just didn't know what they were talking about, but like it is possible, you know, like cuz like everybody knows how like Sonic Youth would just like tune their guitars like to make songs like different,
Yeah,
you know,
they would
like
have like a tuning for each song.
yeah, cuz they admittedly were like we didn't know what the hell we were doing, so we just tuned our guitars to make the sound the way that we wanted it to sound. And so we had all these tunings. And but yeah, I don't know. This is just like, you know, one of our
That's
friends.
also a band that I used to love a lot.
Yeah, I'm weird about Sonic Youth because like I think that Kim Deal, or I mean, God, not Kim Deal, but also Kim Deal, but I think that Kim Gordon is amazing, and I'm weird about Sonic Youth because of their personal relationship, and I'm just like I'm mad. I'm like, how could you do that,
Yeah,
Thurston Moore? Like you know. So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah. Fuck Thurston Moore.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm just like, yeah, like all the songs where like Kim Gordon sings or like Kim Gordon's bass is like the most important part. Like I'm like, these are the fucking jams right here. And like the other songs I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Thurston, fuck you, you know. I'm like, I don't care what you're singing about, all right? But yeah, I don't know. It's it's I don't know if it's like petty of me because I don't know these people, you know. Like I'm not invested in there, but I'm like, how could you?
It's like fuck. I could have seen them, and you ruined it.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know, but
I don't think about it that hard because I was like really young when they did like break up. Wasn't that like 2010, 2011?
probably. it's well
Like around that time, I
after.
was really young. I didn't even know what the hell they were at the
Mm-hmm.
time, so I
Mm-hmm.
kind of just like would tell myself like I wasn't there for it. I can't be that mad.
Yeah.
But also like, why was I not born a few years earlier? Like, fuck.
Did you listen to her newest album?
No, I don't. I don't really keep up with them anymore,
It's
but
pretty
I
cool.
do appreciate them a lot.
Yeah, it's very different. It's pretty cool. It's like
What is it?
uh I don't know, it's a lot of like experimental kind of stuff. It's not a it's not an album that I would like sit there and listen to like on repeat. It's an album that
Yeah, there's a
I'm
lot
like
of stuff that I.
I'm like this is weird. Like I want to put on something that's kind of weird and just like I'll maybe I'm playing like a video game or I'm drawing or something and I just want to have this like cool weird music on and that's what it's like. But I did enjoy it a lot. It's just like I don't know how to quantify it musically necessarily. I'm just like yeah, like the Queen is still doing
Is it
it.
like more like experimental, like noise shit? Because I know like
Not
Sonic Youth
necessarily
kind of
noise, but
dabble.
like there's like some electronic elements to it and like yeah, I don't know.
Is it like live band stuff, or is it just her?
I feel like it's probably the case where like the ideas would come from her, but there was like different people like collaborating and stuff, you know, on different
Uh,
tracks or
I
whatever.
see.
I really should like I really should have digged into it more before I was like gonna talk about it. But like yeah, if anybody is a fan and hasn't listened to it, I recommend it. Just put it on and see what you think. I mean, maybe it's not for you, but it's kind of just like it's like a I don't know, like there it had some of the aspects of like like some of the less structured like Nine Inch Nails albums or something, is what I would like most closely put it to. It's like I'm trying to think of
Oh, like the ghost
yeah, yeah,
stuff.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay,
That's what
yeah,
it most reminded
that
me of.
stuff is
Just
good.
just like less structured and just like yeah. But I mean it's like I don't know, fuck yeah, like she's almost 70. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck
Yeah,
yeah. Like do some shit, that's what I'm talking about. I love it. But
it's sad when like there's people that made this like crazy music and then they just like stop and get old and like I don't know do some lame shit now. I mean, I
right.
get it. Like
I
when you
was
get old, you kind of you lose the time to do all that. But like, I could not imagine that.
yeah, I was just talking about this with my wife the other day where I'm like, yeah, there are some exceptions, for sure, but it's like it's wild to me how there's so few people that you can think of to where like once their commercial success sort of went away, like there's so few people you can point to where it's just like they're still making albums like anyway, even though they're not like necessarily like the that big like commercially or whatever. And it's like
Hmm.
I mean, one of them that I can think of is like Vanessa Carlton, like still makes albums and stuff. Like though, like probably,
Really?
yeah. And like, um, and I listened to one of them not that long ago, and I was just like, nah, I don't know, this is still pretty cool. Like, and um,
It's cool that they still got like gas in the tank.
yeah, yeah, because it's just like before we started recording, like I was saying, it's like we don't just come here, we don't just end up writing songs and stuff because we think like, oh yeah,
We're gonna
this,
get famous.
yeah, yeah, or whatever, right? So
We're just
we
doing it to do it
yeah, and
because
we
we want to
love
do
it,
it.
and so like by that like logic, you're like, just because somebody like is like, well, I'm not like making hit records anymore. You would just think that you hear more often about like, yeah, this band that had like a hit single back in the 90s, just put out their 12th album like self-released more or less, you know what I mean? Like, but they don't
Hmm.
fucking care because it's just like that's why they were there in the first place, but you never hear
Yeah,
that.
and I feel
And
like that separates like you kind of know who is kind of like doing it at the end for more like the commercial reasons, and then people that are still making music for the love of it.
mhm. Yeah, I mean,
Like I didn't even know Kim Gordon still made music. That's
right,
awesome.
right. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. It's just like, you know, Fiona Apple's a good one too, I think, because like her album "Fetch the Bolt Cutters" a couple years ago, that did blow up, and it got like a lot of like high praise, and I think it was deserved and everything. But it's like I don't know that any of those songs or that album like were ever going to be as big as like her hit from the 90s, you know what I mean? So that's another one where
Yeah,
you're like hell yeah, like you can tell this was a person like I'm here to write songs, like, and if I make a bunch of money doing it, that's awesome, and if not, I'm still going to be making songs, and
yeah.
yeah,
That's kind of how I feel.
yeah, it's wild. Like I just I don't know. I probably there's an aspect of it where, especially with like pop musicians or whatever. At least for a long time, it's just like there was an aspect of that where it was like, if this isn't making money, then they can't actually afford to do it because they have to hire producers and everything to realize their ambitions, as opposed to like
Yeah,
now it's like,
I can't imagine that though. I'm too
yeah,
much of like the music maker
yeah, we're
to
not there anymore. Like
even
now
like,
it's like literally you can just have a SoundCloud and you can just get the programs on your computer and you can make your album,
and
you
you
know?
buy an interface and make your own
Yeah.
music.
Yeah. Scarlet Focusrite, $180 or whatever they are, it's like you can just do it.
Yeah.
I mean, I know lots of like uh lots of artists that are like, more or less like in the pop realm and stuff that are just like pretty much DIY, and it's, I don't know, it's awesome, but like,
I don't listen to him, but I remember I don't really listen to him. I was never big on him, but like that one guy, Steve Lacy, he like made most of his stuff on like GarageBand. I swear on like on his iPhone, and then he has songs that have like hundreds of thousands of listens. That's so cool.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, it's wild. I mean, there was, it was there was a record that I did with my friend, and all of the demos that he sent me, he did on his iPhone with GarageBand. And then there was like, when my wife had gotten an iPad like used for the first time, my kids ended up putting GarageBand on it and we're making like little songs and stuff. And I was like pumped. I was like, yes, yes. But I mean, they don't care
yes,
now.
please,
But like,
yes, make music.
yeah, I was just like, yes. Every once in a while, they will come downstairs and they will plug a microphone into a guitar amp and turn on a keyboard, and like they'll jam, and it's funny. I like
That's
what I
so
hear
awesome.
from upstairs, but I don't think that they're as interested in that as they are in like in Soulsborne games, and stuff like that. But yeah. So how many songs did Olivia record?
We recorded five.
5 songs. Awesome. Do
Yeah.
you?
Also to go back to um I want to go back to the recording stuff. The first Claybirds demo I recorded on GarageBand on my iPad with a 4-channel Focusrite interface.
That's awesome. So you did everything separately. Separately, you tracked the drums and then just put everyone
We
in.
did it. We did it like drums and one guitar, and then we overdubbed everything else.
Oh, okay. So live was drums and one guitar, and then punching in everybody else.
Yeah,
And
and the
that was
recent, yeah,
that
and the
was in
recent
that
EP,
was a couple of years ago, just April 2023.
yeah, it was like a few days ago was the 2-year anniversary.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then
And
Nico
the most
recorded the newest one.
no, he mixed, but I
Oh,
recorded it.
okay.
I got a new interface kind of recently,
Okay.
and I recorded it with that. We did like a scratch track, like DI guitar over me drumming, and then we overdubbed like the real guitars and bass over that and vocals just in
Awesome.
our guitarist's garage for like 2 days, and we got everything done.
Okay, what interface did you get?
It's a Focusrite 8 channel.
Oh, you got an 8 channel? What are those
Yeah,
like run these days?
they're good. I still need to
No, how
learn
much
how
do they
to use the
cost?
fucking. Oh, it was like, to my knowledge, about like 400.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember.
I'm still
I
using.
put like half the money into it, and then the rest of the money was like from my parents for a Christmas present.
Oh, awesome. I'm still using a pre-Sonus FirePod from like 2010, and
How many channels is that one?
it's 8, and I got it for $150 then. But like the thing is, they don't make the drivers for it anymore. So like, it's
Ah,
yeah, it's just like I downloaded like an old driver, and so now I'm like kind of like I don't know if there's actually something wrong with the machine or if it's just because it's using like the wrong driver that like some things are just wonky, you know? Like I don't,
I see.
how can
Yeah,
you tell, right? You know, it's like because I'm using
there's a
like,
bunch of shit that's wonky about my interface because I I'm still doing it on my iPad. I don't have like the Focusrite drivers on it or anything. But it for some reason it works when you just plug it in, put in the charger, plug in all the mics, set it all up. It works somehow.
so you just you plug the
I have a
you plug it
adapter
into the
that goes
lightning
into it.
jack?
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
I don't know how it works because
Hey, it doesn't
before I
matter as
got a
long as it
computer,
works.
I got the
Yeah.
yeah. It makes it easier because I understand the iPad, but
Uh-huh.
I don't understand the computer really.
Yeah. And you recorded it in GarageBand or you recorded it in something else?
Yeah, just GarageBand.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I I don't know. I am still recording on the computer that I have. I've been recording on since Coma Regalia started in 2010. Um, I desperately need to get some other kind of situation going, but like I don't have the money. So like I'm just always like one day,
You gotta
you
make
know.
do with what you have.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
it's
I've been like trying to record some more bands,
yeah.
like just like DIY. I mainly record like people's like demos and stuff. And
Mhm.
I feel like that's kind of like just good for me. Like get a little bit more experience. It's a bit of a side hustle. I don't know, like I don't know how far I can I can afford to go and how far I'm willing to go to
Yeah.
improve all my gear and means of having the computer to do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. For sure. Did you record the Homegrown EP?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
also recorded that with I recorded that with the 4 channel, but I we did drums separate.
Oh, okay. You did the drums just like totally separate, and then everybody just did everything like one by one after that.
Yeah.
Okay. I could have
There's
saw
some
that
parts that
been I could have saw that being a project that you did more or less totally live, like because it just has that vibe to it. You know, just like
did you listen to it?
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like
That's
it just had
also
that vibe where it's just like it's like not it's what is it? It's 9 songs in like 6 minutes. It's just like has that vibe where you could have theoretically just been like, all right, everybody plug in. We're doing this on the first take, you know, and then like not that it
yeah,
sounds like it was done on,
yeah,
but like you know what I mean. It has that vibe like let's go for it, and it's just like you just blast through everything, and then it's just like fuck
yeah.
yeah, you know. But
There's some imperfections in that came out in the recording. Like I did like some of the drum tracks without like a scratch track. I
hmm
just kind of did it from memory, and I played the parts fine, but I may have played it like slightly faster than what we normally did, or like there are like pauses. There's some like pauses where I didn't do it the exact time, and then
yeah.
that kind of like messed up how the guitars ended up recording. And could have gone back and redid all that, but we didn't want to. So we
Look,
put it
I've
out
literally
how it
done the
was.
same thing where it's like where where it's like, oh
I did do
shit,
the drums. How
I only played that part 3 times and it was supposed to be 4 times, and then I'm just like, I don't notice it until like the drums are all put away and I'm recording guitars, and then I'm just like, well, that's how the song is now.
yeah, yeah,
And
pretty
sometimes it's
much.
like more interesting because you just like you know nobody else has to
And
know. It's just yeah,
I get to kind of rewrite the song.
yeah,
Like
exactly. It can be fun. It can be fun. You know, it's different if it's like a crucial moment or something, but it's like, yeah, sometimes it's just like, wait, that's kind of weird that way. That's cool. But yeah.
yeah,
Another thing I noticed that you had a link on your Instagram to humming to a dead song. Is that an art Instagram? Like, did you do all of that like
yeah,
flower work
kind
and
of.
stuff?
I'll post like the art, like whatever artwork I'll make for bands, and then my records. It's just kind of like a dump for everything I don't want to post on my personal.
hmm So you did the art
And
for
I
the
also,
February EP?
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
very cool.
I need to like get that framed in my
Yeah.
house or something because too many people like it. I love the February album though, but
Yeah. No, they're so good.
like it's so crazy. I see it like every fucking day, and I don't know how to feel.
Did you take inspiration from that? From that? Is it Death Cab for Cutie that has one that looks like that, or is it? Am I thinking of a different band?
It was more Joan of Arc, but it looks like the Death Cab one.
Yeah. 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 It's a really good cover though. It's for
They
sure.
sent me
Like
Joan of Arc and Cap'n Jazz, and then I was like, okay, I know what to do.
yeah, for sure. Um. Yeah.
You
That.
should also check out their other band called the Ritornello Forum. They're cool. That's like very much like Promise Ring, Jazz June, like what the vibe like you know how the vibe of the February album cover is more like that, but it sounds more screamo.
Uh huh.
Like I'm making the Ritornello Forums album cover, and it's like it's very much that music,
Yeah.
and I'm hyped for them
Yeah.
to
That
drop
sounds
it. It
awesome.
sounds great.
And this is a chance for me to say that if anybody needs to get rid of one of those February "Girls Do It Better" shirts, then that's me right there. Small or medium, you can send that to me. Just DM me, and because I need that shirt.
They'll probably make some more. I
I hope
don't think
so.
they'll ever not do those
Yeah,
again.
that's
And
awesome.
also, um, yeah, no.
Um,
Let's talk about February for a second. They are so awesome. I am so fucking proud of them. Like, I remember when they played their first show with Playbirds, um, like August of 2023,
uh-huh.
and even watching them then, it was so like different and interesting. I don't think I think maybe like one or two of the album songs were on there, but like from then and then the next time I saw them after that was like February of 2024, just kind of like right before they started like recording that album. Like, man, that was like such a like a jump from everything else I was hearing, like all the bands that I was seeing at that time.
Yeah, they're
I don't
awesome.
know.
Um, but yeah, before we take off, let's see, like, let's get a rundown on what's going on as far as like, I know that Olivia, you just said that there's 5 songs coming and that you just got the mixes. So hopefully people will be able to check that out soon. Um,
Yeah.
Claybirds, y'all just released, um, excuse me, y'all just released a separation from Vanity this month. So,
Uh huh.
excuse me, goodness, I just got such nasty stuff there. But is there stuff coming from Kiowa and Homegrown like anytime soon? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Kiowa, we're
Oh,
putting
I'm
out
sorry.
a split with One Way Mirror and Cinema.
Oh, awesome. And did you know that there's
I
another
don't know when.
Kiowa in California as well, and they also play like the same like skate parks that I see like all the screamo bands playing and stuff,
No way.
skate shops rather. Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't know that.
yeah. They sound like
I,
Sublime or like maybe like a Future Island slash like Sublime kind of thing. I was like,
I hope they don't beef with us.
I was just like, they have to know about that, right? Because they play that like, what's the name of that skate shop in Fullerton or whatever that everybody plays?
Program.
Yeah, yeah.
Program.
It's like they got that on like their Bandcamp page that they're playing there, and I was like, because I went to that first on accident, so I just like went there and I was like, this is not the band. Like, I mean, it was fine. Like, it was fine music. It's just not like I do like Future Islands. I've never liked Sublime, and that's like if they stayed more on the Future Islands side, I think I'd be more with it. But then, like I said, it's kind of
I like
Sublime.
Sublime just because like I grew up around it, so
Sure,
I don't think I could ever not like it.
yeah. Well,
I
check
mean,
them out and
I live in
do a
Orange
split with
County.
them. That'd be weird.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Do a
do a split with Sublime.
no, do a split with Kiowa. Do a
Oh, the
Kiowa
other
split.
Kiowa.
Yeah, yeah. Or do a collab album with them where it's like,
Let's do a. We should do a show together
yeah,
because
do a
like
battle set.
there's I know you probably know Lagrimas, right?
Yeah, yeah,
There's two. There's one from Texas and the one from California, and they played a show together. That was cool as fuck.
yeah. That's awesome. Yeah,
I hope that Kaya was willing to do that because we are not going to change our name.
yeah. There was there's a split 7-inch from back in the day from 2 bands called Gus. One was from Florida and one was from Canada. And that 7-inch fucking rules. So like I'm always like,
What
if there's two
what
cool
band?
bands, it's called Gus. Yeah.
Gus?
Yeah. So there's just a Gus split and it's the 7-inch fucking rules. Like both bands rip.
What is it?
It's it's like mid 90s, like it was out on No Idea Records, so it's like, you
Emo?
know, like punk, orgcore, it's Rites of Spring ish kind of stuff. But the band from Canada is a little faster and heavier kind of stuff. But
Nice.
yeah, I don't know. I'll send you a link to the 7-inch so you can check it out. It's good. It's
Yeah,
good
send me
stuff.
that.
I own it, but yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and and Homegrown. Do you got more stuff in the works for that, or is
Yeah.
that just kind of
We
yeah?
have a split coming out with this band from Reno called Best Friends. They're awesome. They sound like kind of like Spaz, like modern take on Spaz. Really
Okay,
good. I feel like they do it very well.
that's awesome.
Homegrown is very much like. Do you like grindcore, power violence?
Yeah,
Very much like you really like all the stuff from the West Bay, like Plutocracy or No Less, uh, Immortal Fate, just like all of that, and as well as like fast stuff like you're from the Midwest, you know of Mellow Harsher, right?
yeah,
Yeah, just kind of stuff like that, or like other fast stuff like band Autopsy from the Bay Area. They're really cool. I like grindcore a lot. I feel like a lot of people kind of see it as like a novelty, like just because there's a lot of people that just know grindcore as like mince, and like you know what mince is, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like I don't know that kind of stuff. I don't like mincecore, and a lot of people just think like that's what grindcore is, but there's like so much more.
Yeah, I mean, before like 2018 and stuff, like we were playing like before then, there weren't enough screamo bands to where you would have a show that was all screamo. So we were playing like with all kinds of bands all the time, and we were always playing with like
I
grindcore bands and
remember you
stuff.
talking about this
Yeah.
on one of the episodes. I forget. I think it was with Ben. You guys were talking about like you guys would play like with like punk and shoegaze bands
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just
and
yeah.
like
I don't necessarily remember all the bands that we played with, but like Grin and Barrett and stuff, like we played with them and like
with who?
Grin and Barrett. It's
I don't,
like
I don't
power
think I know
violence.
them.
Yeah, it's like power violence grindcore by folks that were in screamo bands previously, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and there were some bands that we played with. Like there was one band that I can't remember the name of, but played with this in this basement and in Illinois, and the drummer, like for whatever reason, like the drummer like did not use a drum throne. The drummer sat on um, the bass cabinet, like,
Huh.
and and
That's
he
interesting.
he was
Like by
one.
choice,
Yeah, yeah, by choice.
or
Like everybody could have
everyone else
like,
had a throne but
yeah,
him.
and he was like one of the fastest, gnarliest drummers that I ever saw. Like, and he was just like sitting on a brick of like speakers. You know what I mean? Like, and he was just like
That is that's
blazing.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, and yeah,
And
at
I'm
our
hoping that this is a small bass cab and not like the 8x10
yeah,
like
no,
bridge.
it was, I don't know. It was about the right height, but it was maybe like it was like a 410 cab, So it was like
Ah,
the perfect height and yeah, I don't know. I made a joke the other day at our show, but I wasn't exactly joking because like something happened with the person who like the person who was playing drums with me. We're not sure, like, because we did a quick practice at this space that somebody like let us into, and we're
mm-hmm.
not sure if he brought his drum stool there and accidentally left it in that practice spot, or if he just like
Uh-huh.
didn't get it packed in. But when we were unloading his drums to do the back line, like he couldn't find his throne, and I was like, "Well, you can," because I had brought a 2x12 cab, and I was like, "Well, you can sit on the 2x12," and like, I think he was like frustrated at the time, so he was like, he didn't like. I was like being serious, like, because
Oh,
if
and
there
they
was,
were like, why
yeah,
would I
yeah,
do that? What the fuck?
yeah, and I was just like, I mean, I've seen it happen, sort of, more or less. So I mean, like, if I don't know, I'm one of those like the show must go on kind of people, Like one time, our drummer, we were on a tour, and our drummer left his snare stand at home, and we didn't know until we were
Uh-huh.
setting up for the first show, and so he put his snare in a
How far were
barbecue
you from
grill.
home?
Oh, we were hours, like we were 5 hours away, and
Damn.
and we're setting up and we had nothing else. We were the only band that was playing. It was this whole thing, right? But we put his snare in a barbecue grill. We put it in a barbecue grill, and it like, yeah, it was it's so funny. But like yeah, anyway. Um that's all awesome. I'm looking forward to like whatever whenever Olivia drops that. I'm looking forward to more Kiowa and more Homegrown. And if people haven't checked out the new release from Clayboards, they should do that very soon, because I think that from listening to the earlier stuff until listening to that, like, I listened to that first, and then I went back and I started listening to things in chronological order, and I see what you're saying about how, like, you were able to, like, sort of refine into what it is on the newest release, The Separation from Vanity. So, like, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I feel like we were very much still kids. We are kids, but like, we were like kids when we were doing that first demo, and then like kind of later on, we found more music that really like more screamo that resonated with us, and kind of like found our own sound, and then like started taking lots more inspiration from non-screamo, and I don't know, just like I feel like a result of the new EP was us growing up, kind of.
And that was my conversation with Jack. Thank you so much, Jack, for taking the time to chat with me. Thanks to all of y'all for listening as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the Middleman Records YouTube page for updates on the show and all of that stuff. Until next time, take care and do good things.